Wu Zhen, in his 30s, is the owner of a small or large private enterprise. He and his wife are college classmates. They have been married for 4 years and have a lovely 3-year-old baby. Because of the childbirth, his wife Du Qin quit her job and has been taking care of the children at home, becoming a full-time wife. Du Qin was a beauty, and she was the school beauty at school. It took Wu Zhen 2 years to catch up with her. She gained weight when she gave birth, but unlike other women, she quickly lost weight. Her figure was not inferior to that of a young girl, but also added a bit of the charm of a mature woman. Many people envied him for having such a beautiful wife, which made him feel very proud, but it also brought him a lot of troubles. The greedy eyes he looked at his wife made him very uncomfortable. This is one of the reasons why he insists on letting his wife stay at home. Today is their wedding anniversary. Wu Zhen wanted to surprise his wife and bought a large bouquet of tulips, which are her favorite flowers. He also carefully selected a gift. He couldn't wait to see his wife's surprise. I turned down some work and drove home from get off work early. But a pair of men's leather shoes at the door made his heart skip a beat. The home has high-end wooden floors, and you need slippers when entering. Those leather shoes are very big and look like men's shoes. Who is here? For his wife Du Qin, Wu Zhen still trusts him very much. Ever since he married him, he basically broke off the contact with his former classmates. The two have always loved each other. After adding a little angel, although the private space is small, they seem to have a relationship with each other. He formed a deeper bond and became closer, just like water. Although it was faint, it seemed that he should be there, and it was so natural there. Maybe some relative was here. Wu Zhen smiled to himself and walked in. A little girl with big watery eyes was playing with a doll on the tatami mat on the floor. When she saw Wu Zhen coming in, she jumped and ran to protect her father's thighs, and said in a childish voice with her arms open, "Hug, hug. Yeah, come on, let daddy give you a hug. Haha, do you miss daddy?" Looking at his daughter's chubby little face, Wu Zhen couldn't help but kiss her. Her daughter is his caring little cotton-padded jacket. As long as he sees her licking the smiling face, no matter how hard or tiring the work, he felt it was worth it. Looking around, Du Qin was nowhere to be seen in the living room or the kitchen. The pair of men's leather shoes just now made him suspicious again. He hugged his daughter and asked softly, "Baby, where is Mom?" Mom, sleep." Yaya frowned and thought for a while, pointing to the bedroom door. After gently putting his daughter down and letting her play by herself, Wu Zhen was startled and thought of a terrible scene. A man came in while his wife was sleeping in the bedroom. Is he a thief? Impossible. Which thief is so civilized and even takes off his shoes? That's an acquaintance. The door is a strong security door with a peephole on it. No one from the outside can easily enter unless the wife agrees. Sleeping alone during the day? Or sleep with that man? When I came to the door of the bedroom, the door was closed, and I put my ear to it. There seemed to be sounds inside, but due to the soundproofing, I couldn't hear clearly what was being said. I could vaguely hear the conversation between men and women. In broad daylight, leaving the children alone and in the bedroom with the door closed, what good thing could a man and a woman do alone? Wu Zhen's anger was ignited. He didn't expect that he would have a day of being green, and it was the ironic day of the wedding anniversary. Looking at the tulips on the coffee table and the gift for her in his pocket, he became more and more aggrieved, and suddenly pushed the door open. Well, he wants to see how embarrassing this pair of dogs and men are. The room was empty and there was no one there. The TV on the cabinet was playing a TV series. Could it be that it was hidden? Scenes of catching rape came to mind. Opened the closet, bent down to check under the bed, but there was no one, not even the figure of his wife Du Qin. Looking at the half-open window, could it be that he escaped from here? But this is the 8th floor. I leaned against the window and watched it for a long time. Sure enough, what I saw in the movie was a lie. From such a high place, running from here would be like seeking death. At this time, there was a sound of flushing from the toilet. Are you hiding in the toilet? Wu Zhen ran to the toilet door in a few steps. Just as he was about to smash the toilet door opened from the inside. A young man and his wife Du Qin walked out while chatting. "Zhen, why are you back? So early?" Du Qin asked in surprise when he saw Wu Zhen standing at the door with a cold face. Who is he? Wu Zhen looked at this young man who was much younger than him unhappily. He was wearing jeans and carrying a tool bag on his waist. He looked like he was here to repair water pipes, but he didn't wear work clothes, which made people feel uncomfortable. Suspicious. Oh, he is here to repair the toilet. The toilet at home keeps draining water and wastes a lot of water. He is very good and fixed it in no time. Du Qin praised while paying. Thank you boss, remember to give me a 5-star review. The young man took the money and showed a sunny smile. He nodded slightly towards Wu Zhenye and left. Seeing him put on the shoes at the door and leave, and his wife giving positive comments on the mobile phone, Wu Zhensai realized that he had misunderstood. Fortunately, he did not make any drastic actions, otherwise it would be terrible. Wow, what a beautiful flower, is it for me? Du Qin saw the flower on the coffee table, picked it up and smelled it, and asked excitedly, what day is it today? You. Ah, today is our wedding anniversary, I actually forgot. Husband, I'm sorry, I forgot such an important day. Du Qin rubbed her hands, as if to please and beg for mercy. Every time she showed this aggrieved and pitiful look, Wu Zhen was unable to parry. This careless little confused can no longer get angry. Forget it, it's not a big deal. Wu Zhen teased her pretending to be angry, and deliberately and casually took out a small gift box from his arms. What is this? A gift for me? Du Qin became more excited and grabbed it. While unpacking it, he asked, what is it? Can I open it? Looking at his wife's baby face with collagen, Wu Zhen secretly lamented that God really loves his wife. Although she is a mother who has given birth to a child, she still looks so pure and beautiful without any trace of time. Dad, gift. Yaya seemed to be very interested in this beautifully wrapped gift box. She lost her beloved doll and walked over to grab it. Baby, be good, this is for mommy. Come, dance with daddy. Wu Zhen picked up Yaya and kissed her hard on the face. Turning on the early childhood education machine, and a children's song was playing on it, he took his daughter's little hand and danced with the beat. The daughter was more interested in the children's song, kicking her two short legs and jumping up and down. Wow, it's so beautiful. Husband, thank you. Du Qin had already opened the gift box, and when he saw a pair of exquisite platinum earrings inside, his eyes lit up, and he couldn't wait to wear them with excitement. He even kissed Wu Zhen on the cheek. Wu Zhen pretended to be disgusted, but he was very happy in his heart. He was so happy to have such a lovely daughter and a gentle and beautiful wife. In the evening, they spent an unforgettable and passionate night. Wu Zhen lay on the bed contentedly and looked at his wife with a bad smile as she shyly ran to the bathroom barefoot to wash up. He wanted to smoke a cigarette, but after giving birth to Yaya, he decided to quit smoking. This quit lasted for 3 years, and he could only relieve by chewing gum. Suddenly the vibration of the mobile phone interrupted his thoughts, and he turned his head to find a message flashed on the screen of Du Qin's mobile phone. Baby, are you asleep? The message quickly disappeared from the screen. Wu Zhen rubbed his eyes, wondering if he was blinded. He took the phone and unlocked it, but he tried twice in a row without success. If he made a mistake again, the screen would be locked for 5 minutes. Wu Zhen's hand holding the phone unconsciously tightened. Isn't the password his birthday? I remember that when they were in college, they used each other's birthdays as the power-on password. I don't know when she changed the password. Who sent that message that disappeared just now? Was it a prank? Is it a harassing text message? Or did she cheat? Hearing the sound of the bathroom door opening, Wu Zhen panicked for some reason and put the phone back to its original place, as if nothing happened. Next, he kept secretly observing his wife's reaction. She slowly noticed the text messages on her phone. A trace of panic flashed in her eyes. She seemed to glance at him secretly, and then turned off her phone as if nothing had happened. What's the matter? Wu Zhen asked, pretending to be curious. It's nothing, spam messages. Du Qin said casually, with a calm tone. Is it really just spam text messages sent by others indiscriminately? Wu Zhen also couldn't figure it out. Seeing his wife's indifferent appearance, it didn't seem like she was lying, or maybe she was very good at acting and concealed it well. If it is the latter, this matter may be serious. He really wanted to ask her why she changed the password, but he couldn't get it out of his mouth. It seemed that he was very petty and cared about her, and felt very shameless. But suspicion and the phrase baby kept him awake for a long time. Early the next morning, Wu Zhen found out that he was late and hurried out with dark circles under his eyes. When he came to the company, he saw a group of people chatting together without doing anything. He who was about to scold someone just now became curious when he heard what they were talking about. Have you heard? Xiao Ma's wife gave him a cuckold. I've guessed it a long time ago. His wife is so coquettish. I already knew they wouldn't grow together. Pony is always on business trips, and sister-in-law stays at home alone. After a long time, she will inevitably have ideas. Many people can't escape the curse of the 7-year itch, and the pony is also getting itchy. I've seen this kind of thing a lot. Will Xiaoma get a divorce? I didn't see him come to work today. It's so miserable for him. After the incident broke out, he gave up. He cried and begged his wife not to divorce. He was so spineless. When some people saw Wu Jin coming in, they scattered like birds and beasts, and returned to their desks one after another. Wu Jin took a look. Xiaoma's desk was indeed empty. If you don't come to the company, you won't ask for a vacation. It seems that the matter is true. Looking at a handsome and sunny boy, I didn't expect such a thing to happen. He was no longer in the mood to train others, so he silently returned to his office. Suddenly he felt sympathy for Xiaoma. When encountering such a thing, it would be a huge blow to anyone. In the evening, Wu Jin simply went to find Xiaoma according to the address on the information, which can be regarded as caring for the employees. Maybe he just wanted to find someone to talk about the boredom in his heart. Xiaoma drank alone at home, and when he saw the boss came to see him, he was a little flattered, and he was so drunk that he poured out all his grievances to Wu Jin. Xiaoma and her wife met on a blind date, and they got married not long after. After marriage, they found that there were many disagreements in their 3 views, so they often quarreled, but soon she would recall his wife's kindness, and took the initiative to admit her mistakes and apologize. Thinking that his compromise did not win the other party's understanding, but made the other party become more and more presumptuous. First, the lock screen of the mobile phone was changed to a secret, then all kinds of ambiguous text messages, and suddenly dressed up and went out for no reason, and finally he saw her and a man making love to each other during a stalking. He angrily went over to argue, but was scolded by his wife and even filed for divorce. In the end, instead, he started to be cowardly, choosing to forgive and forget all of this, hoping to pretend that nothing had happened, and to continue living with his wife, but her wife quit and insisted on divorce and leave with that man. It's not worth it for this kind of woman, brother, think about it, there are many good girls, don't hang on a tree. Wu Jin comforted the crying pony, and he drank a lot unconsciously. Maybe it was because I felt sorry for Xiaoma's experience, maybe because I felt sympathy for the same problem. When I went back, I was already smelling of alcohol. When he got home, Du Qin saw that he smelled of alcohol, frowned and helped him lie down. Wife, I love you. Wu Jin is drunk but has not lost consciousness. He feels dizzy, but he knows what he is talking about. He wants to use the strength of alcohol to express the doubts in his heart. Really, why are you drinking so much wine? Du Qin smiled and fed him a glass of hot water. Honey, you love me too, right? Old husband and wife, so disgusting. Speak quickly, you have to say it sincerely, I want to listen. Only under the influence of alcohol could he say such disgusting words. Hate, okay, I love you, okay. Don't play tricks on me, I want to be serious. I know, I love you. Go to bed, it's very late. Are you hiding something from me? Wu Jin was not satisfied when he heard Du Qin's words like coaxing a child, so he went straight to the point. No, don't think about it, why don't you make a bowl of ginger soup to drink? Du Qin hesitated for a while before saying. Seeing his wife's hesitation, he felt nervous. Is there really something being hidden from him? Why did you change the password on your mobile phone? Is there something you are hiding from me? Wu Jin began to beat his head. On the one hand, he was curious about what his wife was hiding from him. On the other hand, he was afraid that his wife would really tell her the truth. Tell him the things he doesn't want to hear. If it really came to that point, what should I do? Divorce? 8 years of relationship? It can be said that he is unforgettable, he never thought that one day they would divorce? What should Yaya do? Such a cute child, he is still so young, he needs a complete family. Having experienced a single-parent family since childhood, he knows the pain of children without a father. He does not want such an innocent Yaya to experience those sufferings. Did you find out? A few days ago, my sister Xiaofan leaked my password. I was afraid that the password would be eavesdropped, so I changed it. Are you angry because of this? Du Qin thought of Wu Jin he went to drink because of this, he said angrily. What about the text message? Where is the text message calling you baby? Wu Jin simply asked all of them. It was too uncomfortable to keep these words in his heart. Didn't you say it's a spam text message? If you don't believe me, read it yourself. Seeing her husband doubting herself, Du Qin's tone was a little unhappy. He quickly unlocked the phone and handed it to him. Naturally, Wu Jin would not really check it. His wife's willingness to check her cell phone was enough to prove his innocence. If he really checked it, it would show that he really doubted the other party, which would only make her angry in vain. But he was too embarrassed to admit his mistake, so he pretended to be asleep by drinking. Since he didn't sleep well last night, he really fell asleep soon. Duchin had no choice but to cover him with the quilt. After this incident, Wujin felt relieved, and he also understood the truth. As long as the matter is explained, it will be fine. Only if you keep it in your heart will you get sick. He still felt a little guilty for having unreasonable doubts about his wife. Of course, it was impossible for a macho man like him to apologize, but he had other ways to make up for it. Although Yaya is not yet old enough to go to kindergarten, based on the principle that children cannot lose at the starting line, and the conditions at his family are also good, they enrolled Yaya in an early childhood education class. In the past, it was his wife who took the children to class. In order to make up for his debt these days, he took the initiative to take on this task and even left work early for this purpose. The baby after class pouted and wanted to eat ice cream. His pitiful appearance made him helpless, so he had to drive him around to look for it. At an intersection, Wujin saw Duchin wearing a sexy black dress, slender white legs, fashionable high heels, and carrying a shoulder bag, as if she was waiting for someone. When Wu Jingong was about to honk the horn to say hello, an Audi passed in front of his car and stopped in front of Duchin. The latter leaned over to look at the car, opened the door, looked around and got in the car. Wu Jin didn't recognize this car, because the people in the car had nothing to do with getting out of the car, and he could only vaguely see through the glass that the driver was a young man. He stepped on the accelerator to catch up, holding the steering wheel tighter and tighter. "Dad, I want to eat ice cream." The ignorant child didn't know what was happening. "Father will take you to find mother." Wu Jin suppressed his anger. Mom, Yaya is looking for Mom." The baby became excited all of a sudden, and forgot about handling the ice cream. "I took my cell phone and called her. After 2 rings, she was picked up." "Where are you?" Wu Jin kept his tone as calm as possible. "Me? My sister and I went out for dinner. I'll be back in a while. I'll pick you up." "No, I'm almost home, you just need to take care of Yaya." "Well, let's talk about it when we go back." There was a blind tone on Wu Jin's phone, and Duchin had already hung up. This road was not a direct road to her home. I don't know if she had dinner with her sisters, but she was definitely not with her sisters, but sitting in a man's car. The car got lost at an intersection because of traffic lights. Mom, Yaya missed her mother and looked at Wu Jin pleadingly. "Mom will be back soon. Can I wait for her at home?" Wu Jin squeezed the steering wheel tightly, as if he wanted to crush it, but said to the baby gently. Back home, Wu Jin played with the baby mechanically, but he became more and more irritable. He looked at his watch from time to time. His wife had said she would be back soon, but it had been 15 minutes and she still hadn't come back. "Yaya, Dad will take you for a walk outside, okay?" He couldn't sit still anymore, so he decided to wait downstairs. As soon as they arrived downstairs, an Audi parked at the intersection downstairs, about 50 meters away. A young man in a suit opened the door for Duchin enthusiastically, as if he wanted to take her home. Duchin chatted with him for a few words, waved his hands and made a distinction. The man in the suit didn't insist anymore and had to say goodbye and leave. The two of them seemed a little close. "Mom," Duchin came over carrying a box. When she reached the door, she found her husband and daughter standing at the door looking at her. The daughter even opened her arms for her to hug her. "Good boy, hug me." Duchin took the child in surprise. "Why did you run down?" "Come down with the baby for a walk." Seeing the Audi disappearing at the intersection, Wu Jin didn't ask, as if nothing happened, and replied lightly, just looking at the gift bag in her hand, feeling suspicious in her heart. Is this what the man bought her? Back in the house, Wu Jin took advantage of his wife's opportunity to go to the bathroom and secretly opened the gift bag and found a suit and tie inside. Was it bought for himself or for that man? Wu Jin couldn't help but think about it again. In the evening, Wu Jin has been waiting for his wife to take the initiative to explain why she is a man's car. "Where did you go? What have you done?" It's a pity he didn't wait. But there was a reasonable explanation for the tie. Duchinsai gave it to him, saying it was a wedding anniversary gift, which was a punishment for forgetting. Originally he was very happy to receive the gift, but when he was suspicious, he started to feel depressed again. Maybe the gift was really an apology. But it's not an apology for forgetting the wedding anniversary, but because I feel guilty for doing something I'm sorry for, so I bought this to make up for it. When I think that I am spending time with my children while my wife is secretly spending time with my lover, the jealousy in my heart is as uncomfortable as heartburn. In the middle of the night, he tossed and turned and still couldn't sleep. He took out the cigarettes that had been hidden for many years from under the cupboard and ran to the balcony to smoke. He hadn't smoked for many years. The pungent smell of smoke was familiar and unfamiliar, which made him feel uncomfortable, but he still tried his best. Take a long breath, let the smoke stay in the alveoli, and then exhale from the nose for a long time. It seems that this can make yourself feel better. Why aren't you asleep yet? Have you smoked? Didn't you quit? Duchin, who was wearing pajamas, spotted him. What's wrong? Are you in a bad mood? Have you encountered something? We are husband and wife. If you tell us anything, we will share it together. Duchin asked with concern. Hearing the warm words, Wu Zhen was a little shaken. They are husband and wife, and they should speak out with an open heart. But when he thought about the lies she had lied to him during the day, another voice sounded in his heart. Duchin, Duchin, what you said is nice, but how many things are you hiding from me? Is there anything you're hiding from me? Taking a puff of cigarette, Wu Zhen once again asked this question that troubled him. No. What are you thinking? Duchin flashed a little nervous, and then said angrily, Did you listen to someone gossiping? Don't you know what kind of person I am, Duchin? I am not afraid of my shadow, and I have never done anything sorry for you. If you don't believe me, just go check me out. Who was the one who drove you back in the Audi? Now that the showdown was over, he asked directly. Ah? Did you see it? Are you following me? Duchin was panicked and angry. Do you need to follow up? It's all delivered to the door, why don't you invite him in? You're jealous again. I didn't tell you just because I was afraid of your wild thoughts. He is Deng Xian, our old classmate. He came to us on a business trip recently. When he met him, he sent me back, by the way. That's all. If I had known earlier, I would have told you directly to save you guessing. Duchin looked at him curiously and amusedly, and told him everything about them meeting and helping to choose a tie. Speaking of Deng Xian, Wu Zhen still has some impressions. When he first pursued Duchin, he checked his potential competitors. Deng Xian was one of them. Being introverted, he did not compete head-on with himself in the end. After graduation, the classmates went their separate ways and no longer contacted each other. If you don't like my contact with Deng Xian, at worst I won't see him again, Duchin said aggrievedly, with a hint of dissatisfaction in his tone. What's the matter with meeting classmates? He came to S-City to develop. Let's invite him to dinner some other day. Looking at her pitiful appearance, Wu Zhen also felt that he was wrong. Duchin was not a prisoner, so he couldn't lock her up. It's normal for ordinary classmates to contact each other, he said politely, emphasizing together in his words, and hoped that she could understand his consciousness and not meet him alone. When Duchin heard that Wu Zhen was relieved, he naturally agreed and took him back to rest. Wu Zhen was in a good mood after the misunderstanding was resolved. He hugged Duchin's soft waist and bit her earlobe. Honey, you smell so good. For some reason, he wanted to use this today to declare his sovereignty, to prove that she belonged to him. It's disgusting, no more, my mouth is full of cigarette smoke. It's already very late, go to bed early, I have to get up early to go to work tomorrow. Duchin twisted out of his arms and pulled him to brush his teeth. Wu Zhen smiled slightly and deliberately breathed the smell of cigarettes into her, causing her to hide in the room. Looking at his haggard face in the mirror, he secretly lamented that he had become more and more suspicious recently. He should pay more attention to sleep, and this you really should quit smoking. In the next few days, Wu Zhen did not see his wife being sent back again, and he finally let go of his worries. Until that time the wife and sisters went on a trip. Duchin used to like to travel very much. Since she had a child, she seldom went out. Seeing his wife complaining at home every day, it was pitiful to think about it. He also agreed to travel to Yunnan with his sisters. In the evening video with my wife is sitting on a big bed in a hotel room. This is a double bed. I heard from Duchin that she sleeps with her sisters, which is convenient for holding a symposium. But the figure of her sister did not appear in the camera. I don't know if it is because she is shy and unwilling to show her face, or she has something to go out. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Duchin muttered that it might be his sister Xiao Tian who was back, then put down his cell phone and went out to open the door. The cell phone was thrown on the bed, right in front of the door and the bathroom. At this time, a pair of men's leather shoes appeared at the door. The man stopped at the door for a while and chatted with Duchin for a while before walking into the bathroom. Because they were far away, Wu Zhen didn't hear what they said, but those shoes and legs looked like they belonged to a man, and there was no way they were her best friend Xiao Tian. Then the camera returned to Du Qin's face, as if nothing happened. "Who is it? Xiao Tian?" Wu Jin asked deliberately. "No, it's the hotel waiter," Du Qin replied casually. Hearing this, Wu Jin heaved a sigh of relief. Du Qin didn't lie to him, but was just curious as to why the waiter in the hotel came to borrow the guest's toilet. But what Du Qin said next made him feel completely chilled. The food delivery guy put down the food and left. Du Qin turned the camera and changed into a comfortable position while lying on the bed. Then there was the sound of toilet flushing, and the video was hung up. Wu Jin kept calling back several times with a dark face, but no one answered. After a few minutes, the call came back. Du Qin apologized with a pleading look on his face. "I'm sorry, my phone ran out of battery just now. I have to go hiking tomorrow. It's time to take a shower and rest. You should go to bed early. Good night, dear." After that, he hung up the phone. Everything seemed reasonable, but he couldn't let go of the man who entered the bathroom. The sound of the toilet flushing indicated that the man was still in the bathroom when they were talking, and the phone was out of power at this critical moment. Whether it was a coincidence, or Du Qin hung up the phone on purpose because of a guilty conscience, so many doubts made his heart hang up again. Thousands of miles away, Wu Jin felt powerless because he couldn't go there immediately to confirm the truth. Now he regrets agreeing to let his wife go on a trip. Turn on the TV and press the channel at random. There is a movie playing on the TV. It is about the hero and heroine traveling to Shangri-La, Yunnan to find love. Will Du Qin meet a handsome guy on the road, and something will happen? Even if she didn't mean it, but with her attractive figure, it's hard to guarantee that some men won't fall in love with her. Who knows if Du Qin can withstand the temptation? He really wanted to call again to confirm, but he was afraid of disturbing her rest, which also revealed that he was suspicious of him. Just have to wait until tomorrow to confirm. But holding his mobile phone in a daze, he suffered from insomnia again. The house was empty and deserted, and even Yaya was not there. At this moment, he felt lonely like never before. The image of the man in the video just now always lingered in his mind. He lived with her room? What are they doing right now? The chaotic thoughts were driving him crazy. In the bar, the lights were flashing so brightly that he couldn't keep his eyes open, and the DJ's blaring music made his head buzz. He rarely came to such a place, and those few times he only accompanied customers. The environment here is too noisy, but at this moment he needs alcohol and music to numb himself. He didn't know how much wine he drank, but his face felt hot and his head started to hurt. He needed to get drunk. When he was drunk, he wouldn't think of those heart-wrenching scenes. "Handsome, are you drinking alone? Do you want me to accompany you?" A coquettishly dressed young woman wearing a purple hip-hugging skirt sat next to Wu Jin. "Okay, drink." Wu Jin rubbed his sore forehead and continued to drink. "Don't drink so hard. If you drink like this again, you will become useless. Did something bad happen to you? It might feel better to tell you." The woman rubbed the toe of her high-heeled shoes on his calf. "Cuckold, my wife cuckolded me." Wu Jin was so drunk that he started talking loudly. No matter who it was, he wanted to talk, but it was too uncomfortable to hold it in his heart. "Yo, sister-in-law is so over the top." The woman pursed her red lips and giggled. "Handsome brother, it turned out to be a seed of infatuation. My sister-in-law doesn't know how to cherish it. It's not worth drinking like this for that kind of woman. I worked hard outside to make money to support my family, but I didn't want her to work hard and let her rest at home. She actually lied to me, again and again." Wu Jin felt that he had found a confidant, and expressed all his grievances. "Come out, she has a man, secretly, don't tell me. Give me a cuckold." "Handsome man, be considerate, these are very common in this world." The woman's purple-painted nails stroked and comforted his back. "Normal? Is it normal to wear a cuckold?" Wu Jin asked with his head raised after taking a big sip of wine. "Haha, people always like the new and hate the old. Otherwise, why would there be so many people getting divorced? Cheating is better than divorce." The woman took out a slender cigarette and lit it. "What about the whole life we promised? What about growing old together as promised? It's all a lie." Wu Jin smashed the wine glass, but was stopped by the woman, who took it over and started drinking. "Of course it's a lie. Nothing is eternal. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, haha. Have fun in the moment. Others are sorry for you, but don't be sorry for yourself." The red wine made the woman's cheeks become more delicate, and the words are full of temptation and persuasion. "What's your name?" Wu Jin asked curiously. He tried to open his eyes wide to see the woman's face clearly, but unfortunately he could only see the woman's delicate red lips due to the lighting of the bar and being drunk. Haha, you don't need to know who I am? Anyway, we will be strangers tomorrow. The woman blew a faint stream of tobacco from her red lips, full of a different kind of charm. Hotel bathroom. Wu Jun, who had sobered up a lot after being soaked in hot water, wiped the water from his face and looked outside the frosted glass. He saw the slender figure lying on the bed. He began to hesitate again. As a normal man, he also had normal needs. Such a coquettish beauty is outside, and he also has evil impulses. But his reason told him that this was cheating. He was worried because he suspected his wife was cheating, so he went overboard first. He felt shameless. But when he thought that his wife might be having sex with another man in bed at the moment, he became jealous and wanted to find a woman to take revenge immediately. You are only allowed to cheat, but I am not allowed to make mistakes? The woman on the bed was wrapped in a bath towel, showing her long fair legs. She looked over 30 years old. Although she was not as beautiful as her wife, she had the charm of a mature woman. Seeing Wu Jun coming out in a suit, she was slightly surprised, and immediately she smiled slightly and said, "What? I'm not pretty enough?" "No, you are very charming. It's my problem." Wu Jun took out a cigarette from her cigarette case and lit it. "You wouldn't be? Just treat it like me, thank you for drinking with me." Wu Jun took out a wad of money from his wallet and put it on the bedside. "I'm not selling it." The woman was a little angry, but then she smiled, "But I accepted these as losses for being insulted by you. I've already been hooked by you, and you just let me go. I'm really not manly enough." "Sorry. You still can't let go of your wife? Hee, interesting man, give me your cell phone, leave me a call." The woman looked at this conservative man with interest. Wu Jun knew that he should leave immediately, but he still handed over the phone. When he was walking back, the cold wind blew, and he slapped himself hard. He was so unmanly, such a beauty, what a pity. But thinking of Yaya's lovely smiling face that day, he couldn't allow himself to do things that were sorry for his family. The next day, because I didn't sleep well at night, I was not in good spirits when I went to work. Maybe it was because my wife had been away in the past few days, or maybe I was teased last night. His gaze towards the company secretary was also somewhat irregular. Li Ting is a college student who has just graduated. Her 20s are the most beautiful years for girls. She is slightly chubby and has a particularly large chest, which makes people worry that she will break the buttons of her white shirt. Generally speaking, Wu Jun is still a kind boss in the company, and he tries his best to be tolerant to the newcomer Li Ting. He often mentions her and teaches her some experiences. He can also see the admiration in her eyes, and respect, which greatly satisfied his vanity as a man. "Mr. Wu, you don't seem to be in good spirits. Let's have a cup of coffee." Li Ting brought the coffee to the table and asked with concern. "Thank you." Wu Jun quickly looked away for fear of scaring others. "Mr. Wu, let me go with you on the business trip tomorrow. I want to study too," Li Ting asked expectantly while holding the document. "Okay." Wu Jun just remembered that tomorrow she still has to go to City G to attend a trade fair. Originally, she only needed to bring the salesman there, but now she looked at Li Ting's begging eyes and plump figure, but she couldn't help it. Consciously agreed. When I had a video chat with my wife at night, I noticed that Du Qin's face was slightly red, and he jokingly laughed at her for being shy. But her heart was full of nervousness, and her eyes were focused on the changes in her expression, as if trying to find some clues from her expression. But to his disappointment, the other party only replied lightly, "Just took a shower." My best friend Xiao Tian also appeared in the camera, teasing the two of them for throwing dog food and showing their affection. The cheerful atmosphere also made him relieved. At least his wife was really with Xiao Tian. "Did you sleep well last night? Are you still used to sleeping together?" Wu Jun asked with a smile. His gaze was fixed on Xiao Tian next to Du Qin, hoping to see something from her face. The two of them last night, whether girlfriends sleep together, is very important to him. "Haha, your wife." Oda smiled meaningfully. Du Qin nervously covered her mouth. This action made Wu Jun feel a pain in his heart. Could it be that the man stayed overnight? "Your wife, you talk in your sleep." "Ha ha ha." Xiao Tian broke away from her hand and laughed at Wu Jun. Wu Jun also laughed, feeling a lot more relaxed. At least last night, his wife slept with her best friend. "I'm going on a business trip to City G tomorrow." He felt that he still had to inform him of his itinerary. "Well, then you should go to bed earlier. After Du Qin finished speaking softly, she also joked, "Did you bring a beautiful woman with you?" How could it be? Wu Jin felt guilty, thinking of the plump Li Ting, but he hadn't done anything yet, so he shouldn't panic. After finishing his psychological training, he immediately changed the subject. "When are you coming back?" "I'll be back the day after tomorrow. Good night then." The trade fair in G City went relatively smoothly, and several business deals were signed on the spot. Sales suggested going to KTV to sing and celebrate. Wu Jin was very happy and agreed. Several people were having a good time, and when it was over, several people drank so much that they staggered when they walked, especially Li Ting couldn't walk anymore. Wu Jin was a good drinker, and he was the only one who was still sober. The matter of people going back can only be left to him. After stumbling all the way, it was finally delivered to the room. Li Ting was already clinging to Wu Jin's body like a boneless snake, and it was all thanks to him to hold her up so as not to fall. The softness of her chest pressed against his arm tightly, making him swallow his saliva, and the young and energetic baby face was full of youthful breath. Because of drinking, her pink cheeks were as red as a small apple, making you want to take a bite. The delicate red lips that were slightly pouted were like a watery strawberry waiting for him to pick. She was so drunk that she was unconscious, with her eyes closed, like a girl in first love welcoming her boyfriend's first kiss. Looking at this defenseless and beautiful body, Wu Jin inevitably reacted. There is a voice in his heart that is tempting him. This ignorant girl is drunk, she doesn't know anything, just coax her afterwards, and she will be your pet in the future. Another voice reminded him, she is still a child who has not experienced much in the world. How can you be so beastly? How can you be worthy of your wife and children, and how can you be worthy of your own conscience? The ringtone of his mobile phone startled him. He picked it up and saw that it was his wife's video call. Thinking that this was Li Ting's room, and lying straight on the bed, a girl smelling of alcohol, he couldn't explain it and hung up the phone in a hurry. He covered her with a blanket and left immediately. His wife's phone rang again, and he didn't answer it until he ran back to the room. "Why did you hang up on me? Why is your face so red? What are you doing?" Du Qin's tone was filled with suspicion and dissatisfaction. "I had a drink just now, and my colleagues were celebrating business together. It was inconvenient to answer the phone just now outside." Facing his wife's suspicion, Wu Jin was a little flustered. Fortunately, he didn't do anything embarrassing, otherwise if Li Ting made things worse afterwards, "I have no face to see people." "Why is there lipstick on your neck? Which woman left it?" Du Qin suddenly asked loudly. "Ah? How come?" Wu Jin hurriedly wiped it off with his hands, feeling nervous. Could it be that it was left when he supported Li Ting just now? That being the case, he simply told the truth. Anyway, he didn't do anything wrong to her, so he had nothing to hesitate. Li Ting was drunk, I sent her back, maybe I accidentally touched her. "That secretary of yours? Was he really careless?" Du Qin said with a sneer, obviously not believing such a coincidence. "Really, I came out after sending her back to the room. I'm in my own room now." Wu Jin shook the phone around the room to make her believe what he said. "If you still don't believe me, I'll take you to her room to have a look. She's really too drunk to walk. I'm just helping."